I'm Kevin Boyes, President at Southern State Community College and Chair of the Community Colleges of Appalachia. We all remember March of 2020. Early in this global pandemic, it became clear that our colleges were quickly adapting and employing their creativity in meeting the needs of their students and their communities. The colleges pivoted to online and virtual instruction and to serving as Wi-Fi hotspots, food distribution centers, and vaccine sites. In our journey through this global pandemic, our colleges displayed the resilience, strength, and determination so characteristic of our Appalachian region. We wanted to capture this. With support from an Appalachian Regional Commission grant, we developed this legacy video. Join us now as we share a brief history of our organization and highlight examples of the ways our member colleges faced and responded to the astonishing challenges presented by the COVID-19 pandemic. CCA traces its origins to November 6, 1991, when Dr. Edward Hughes, president of Hazard Community College, convened an organizational meeting of the Community Colleges of Appalachia. During the meeting, members of the coordinating committee were elected with Dr. Eldon Miller, president of West Virginia University, Parkersburg, as chair. By October 1992, the Appalachian Regional Commission, or ARC as we know it, had awarded a grant of $35,000 to WVUP on behalf of the Community Colleges of Appalachia. During the years following Dr. Miller's resignation, the organization appeared less focused, although the annual conferences continued. As chair from 2007 to 2010, and once again from 2013 and 2014, Dr. Ronnie Booth, president of Tri-County Technical College, provided the necessary leadership for CCA to regain its focus. CCA received grant funding from ARC to assist with the annual conference, hired an executive director part-time, and became an affiliated council of the American Association of Community Colleges. Booth hired both the current CCA staff, first Dr. Brian Swords, an administrator at Tri-County Technical College, and then retired community college president Dr. Ann McNutt to serve as executive director. The organization has thrived and now has a membership of 86. For the last decade, CCA has developed and maintained robust partnerships with the Appalachian Regional Commission and the American Association of Community Colleges. CCA serves the common interests of member colleges and their communities through programs and services responsive to the unique cultural, geographic, and economic development challenges facing our region. Early in 2020, our entire world was hit with a challenge that no one could have imagined. The COVID-19 pandemic caused our CCA colleges to face unprecedented challenges that led to many colleges going fully online in March 2020. This pandemic has been unlike anything we have seen in our lives. Many of our colleges experienced unprecedented sickness and loss, with colleges having to pivot to online learning while simultaneously experiencing significant declines in enrollment. During the pandemic, CCA suffered a great loss. One of our beloved members, who was chair-elect of the CCA Board of Directors, Dr. Mark Ivester, president of North Georgia Technical College, contracted and ultimately succumbed to COVID-19 in the summer of 2020. What follows is a testimony to the resilience of the community colleges of Appalachia. The CCA colleges not only survived the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, but through creativity and innovation displayed the resilience for which they are known.
As a new president, the way we tackled the pandemic was probably a struggle for me. I wasn't here. In fact, I was on vacation in Ohio, and I was watching from afar, my senior team attempt to ramp up and attempt to get things moving. That moment I said I had to go, and I never forget, I sat and sent an email one evening, the evening before I returned, and I said, I want to create a command center room in the cafeteria. I left the hotel, I packed up, I left, I came home, and I told them, I never forgot, I walked in and I said, we have one day. We have 8 hours to solve this and make sure that we can evacuate this campus. We probably have one day.
We realize that, it fits with our mission. It fits with what we do as a community college and what we do every day. And it didn't take long before we saw our faculty, our nursing faculty, our allied health faculty in the hospitals, in the clinics, helping out. It wasn't long before we began to see that we needed to teach remotely, that we needed to understand what it meant to do a hybrid class, what it meant to do a totally online class, what it meant to do a synchronous versus asynchronous class, and what that meant for our students.
What did this mean for ICC? What did this mean for education in general? It is hard to imagine there will be another moment in history when the central role of education is so obvious and well understood by the general population. What it meant to ICC administrators, employees, and students was a rapid transition to online learning in all classes and teleworking, one of the most widely used business terms when America practically shut down.
We are pleased to showcase our battle plan to tackle COVID, demonstrate how we navigated these difficult times, but also celebrate how we have given back and continue to give thanks.
The COVID command team in Allegheny College brought together people from all over the college and looking at their expertise, their understanding of the situation. None of us could have anticipated the effects of COVID on learning at Allegheny College and the way we do our job. But seeing everyone come together, the faculty, the students, the partnerships with our community organizations, the leadership from our command team, the college's leadership, it has just been inspiring.
The partnership always starts with the faculty. We had to upskill the faculty very quickly to get 100% of them to teach online and to teach with technology that they weren't familiar with. That was very daunting. They had fear, some were resistant. They wanted to do it, but they just didn't know how. And so the first partnership was with the faculty, and the faculty were tremendous here. They rose to the challenge that we were looking for, and our students within 3 days were back online and instruction was continuing for our institution.
2020 presented higher education with possibly the greatest challenge many of us have ever faced as educators. On March 13th, 2020, all classes on campus went virtual. Our students needed to continue their semester, and whether they had signed up for online classes or not, it was irrelevant. This created an immediate need to ensure that our students had access to the technology that we all suddenly needed to have. The College Aid in Response to an Emergency Situation Scholarship, or CARES effort, was established to raise money and assist students in need through the Advancement Office. Our students here at Northeast State then created Wi-Fi hotspots around campus for the community and for students to use from the safety of their own vehicles. Trainings were implemented to support instructors and our students on our learning management systems to ensure an easier transition into the virtual environment. It was truly an all-hands-on-deck approach to helping our students finish out the semester.
In response to the pandemic, we installed a lot of neat technology here at ACM. We used flex classrooms, which have microphones and cameras in each room, and that allows students to join the class synchronously or asynchronously if the class is recorded.
Almost on a weekly basis, ACM is putting messages out that encourage students and reassure them about the future.
They just had to have the hands-on experience. So we ended up having to split the class basically into 3 sections, each one of them, the industrial maintenance into 3, and run in shifts with extra instructors. And we did the same thing with machining.
I am one of the
original, long-standing Techno-Turtles. Absolutely, that's been a huge challenge for me. I mean, I had trouble figuring out how to use the DVD in class. So you can imagine when I have to learn Zoom and then I have to teach online. Absolutely. But remember, turtles are slow, but they don't stop. That's what the college did. We just kept going, even if we didn't know quite what we were doing. And that's what we modeled for students.
We quickly realized that technology was not the only thing our students needed. Essentials like food, transportation, utilities, and rent assistance were an ever-present danger to the well-being of our campus community.
Our main focus this whole time has been on the success and safety of our students. We've kept that in mind, and we've continued to expand our services. We allowed students the opportunity to pick up items from our food pantry on a weekly basis, and in some cases, we personally delivered food to families that did not have access to transportation.
One of my instructors in particular, she reminded me, hey, you have to think of it this way. All of these struggles and all of these unexpected things that are happening during this program right now, during COVID, it's actually preparing you for going out into the world as a new nurse, where medicine has changed ever since this pandemic has happened. You're gonna be a new nurse in the new world of medicine, and look at it that way, that these tribulations that you're going through right now are actually a really good way to set you up for what you're going into. And it really made sense, and it made me think, yeah, you know what, you're right. And it helps you kind of to embrace that change and to know that it's going to make you better in the end.
So my plans for becoming a nurse have definitely been reimagined. When I first got to ACM, the world was still pretty normal. We weren't wearing any masks. There was no world pandemic. There wasn't anything like that. So I thought it would be a breeze. COVID has definitely given me tunnel vision. It has made me realize that this is what I actually want to do in my career for the rest of my life. It doesn't matter how long it takes or how hard the road may be. I definitely want to be there for people and help those who need me.
For our campus, the more a student is involved with clubs, organizations, or intramural sports, the more likely they are to graduate. Engagement isn't easy for a college where students commute. It's especially challenging when most everything is virtual. But at a time when we are all separated, engagement has never been more important. Throughout 2020 and into 2021, divisions all across campus work together to engage our students in creative and unique ways. Texting and social media have become primary platforms for conversation in day-to-day life. Most of us check our social media long before email, and our students are no different. When the pandemic began, we harnessed these platforms to encourage and relate to one another. Counseling sent out invites for coffee and conversation. Student leadership held a town hall. Student Life hosted a club fair and a dance competition, all of which were virtual.
In planning events, we made sure to include our community in as many as we could. We hosted several outdoor movies that maintained social distancing, but allowed families, faculty, staff, and students to come together just to socialize, even for a little bit.
After we addressed the areas of access and engagement for our students, the college shifted to also helping our community as a whole. These outreach efforts focused on working with industry partners and local entrepreneurs to offer workforce training. Our Northeast State Foundation applied and received funding through the Tennessee Department of Human Services to respond to the impacts of COVID-19. The Tennessee Community Cares Grant allowed us to provide 106 people who were furloughed or unemployed with workforce and professional development. Funds also covered the cost of face coverings that were mailed to all enrolled students for fall and spring. In addition, we were able to compile a list of community resources and distribute these to those in need.
Yeah, one of the really neat things we've done during the pandemic in partnership with CCBC was Shell has a relationship with the Steelers, a corporate relationship, a partnership actually with them too. And we used that partnership to access a program called Convoy of Hope, which brought a literal truckload of food and kind of personal supplies in to the campus. We did it here at CCBC. Really, when we thought about where to do this, CCBC was by far and away the only A-plus location we could think of. It's a place that really resonates throughout the county. It's got the support of the county citizens, and it's a welcoming environment where people can feel free to come and get some help that we were offering.
During this extraordinary time, our journey has been remarkable. We have reimagined dreams. We have reaffirmed our belief that the best is yet to come. We have gone from how do we just keep up with all of the changes to how do we be the change? We are the community colleges of Appalachia. We are truly privileged to serve this beautiful region and the people who call Appalachia home. And we know for certain that no matter how great the challenges, we will always rise to serve our people and our region.